Today we are going to start second chapter of class 11, that is basic concepts of economy. Like every subject has their own terms, that means own words to use, right? So likewise same in economics also you will find their own words which will be used to and fro in the economics, okay, this subject. So to understand that, first and foremost we will understand those words. Now here first we will understand human wants. Now we have already studied that what is the origin of everything, that is human wants, right? So that means everything, economics itself evolves from the human wants. So first understand what is human wants. Now we always say desire, okay, but then desire is not a want. Desire is what? Desire is a wish to have something, okay, but what is want? Want is an effective desire for a particular thing which can be satisfied by making an efforts to acquire it. Now what you do for want? You, that is a effective want. What is it? It is a effective desire, okay. Effective desire, that means something we want it at any cost. At any cost means you take efforts to fulfill it, you do all labor to get it done. So that is want actually in economics, okay. Now you'll say that I have not covered few topics in this, because when you will check out the Frank Brother textbook, then you will find out that few more topics in between. But do remember, whatever topics I have not covered, that is not in your syllabus. So don't panic. Just study what I am explaining. Fine, concentrate on that as per ISC. This is perfect, and moreover learn those part which I have marked, okay. Those are important one, those are the meaning, that is only we are connected with, okay. So now here we will check out the topic consumption. Now what is consumption? Consumption in simple language, if we say consumption means consumption are needed to satisfy human wants. That means we consume things, we take things, we are the consumer of the goods and services. So for what? To satisfy our wants, our needs, okay. So that the act of using goods and services to satisfy human wants is called consumption, okay. Fine. Now according to Mayers, now Mayers has given definition: consumption is the direct use of goods and services in satisfying human wants, okay. So human wants are satisfied with the consumption of goods and services. So do remember, what is consumption? Consumption is the direct use of goods and services in satisfying human wants. Fine. Now next is sustainable consumption. Now what do you mean by sustainable consumption? Sustainable means it is what needed for the development. Fine. So sustainable development, if we want sustainable development, we need to follow this sustainable consumption. Now what do you mean by sustainable consumption? Sustainable consumption is the consumption of goods and services which meet the needs of people and improves the quality of life without having any adverse impact on the environment and needs of the future generation, okay. So do remember, whenever you are consuming something with a motive that I will consume but it will not affect the environment, neither it will affect the future generation, that means I will use it thriftily so that it should be left out for future also, future generation, that means coming generation also, and moreover it should not be hazardous to the nature, it should not hurt the environment. So that is sustainable consumption. Once again I'll read out sustainable consumption. Sustainable consumption is the consumption of goods and services which meets the need of people and improves the quality of life without affecting, or you can say without having any adverse impact on the environment and need of the future generation. Now let's understand the meaning of utility. What is utility? Now utility is something which we feel it. First and foremost, you understand that. Okay. Now utility refers to the want satisfying power of a commodity. So any commodity, the want satisfying power of that commodity is utility. Fine. Now utility is the ability of a goods to satisfy a want. So that is what? That is utility. Okay, so utility may be defined as the moment of satisfaction derived from a goods or services at a particular point of time. See, the main important definition of utility is this one, the last one, that is utility may be defined as the amount of satisfaction derived from a good and services at a particular point of time. So why particular point of time? See, suppose a goods which I am consuming, for example, I give you chapatis to consume. Okay, you are not hungry, so do it has utility for you? Not at all, but rather the person who is hungry, they will have a big utility for that goods. Okay, so that is why it is important. Fine. So what is utility? Utility is the want satisfying power of the commodity. Fine. Now what are the characteristics of utility? So first is utility is subjective. Now what do you mean by subjective? Utility is subjective, that means we can feel it. If I am eating something and if I am satisfied, I can feel it. I cannot touch the satisfaction level, right? So it is psychological, it is psychic, it is not something objective. We cannot touch it. Okay, we can just feel it. So that is why utility is subjective, that is it cannot be observed and identified. It depends on the individual's own subjective estimates of the amount of satisfaction. So every individual has their own perception. Okay, amount of satisfaction can vary from one individual to another. That is what they mean to say. Now utility is not measurable. Now not measurable, can you measure your satisfaction level? No, not at all. Why? Because you cannot quantify it. See, at the end it has been mentioned, it cannot be quantified. Now what do you mean by quantified? That means you cannot express it in terms of turns, like 1 turn, 1 kg, 1 liter. You cannot express in quantity. Fine. So that is why it is not measurable. Now let's move on to the next feature of utility. Utility is relative. Now what do you mean by relative? Relative means it is connected. Connected means it varies from person to person. What is utility? Want satisfying power of the commodity, right? So no doubt the satisfaction level of every person, it depends on the need of the commodity, desire of the commodity, right? So it depends on all the intensity for that want. Fine. So that means it is related. It is related with the desire. That means the intensity. So it varies from person to person. The satisfaction level may be different. Fine. So that is why we cannot give one single statement for all. So that is why it has been said that utility is not absolute but relative in view of its subjective nature. Okay. Next is utility is different from usefulness. Now usefulness means what? That means the goods which are useful, or you can say which is of some need. Okay, but sometimes utility, the goods which give utility may not be useful, may be harmful to you. Okay, for example, you know, liquor, drugs. Fine. For some consumers, those are utility. Those are satisfying, want satisfying. Okay. Those wants are satisfying them, giving them satisfaction, giving them utility. But then it is valueless. It is hazardous. Okay. So that is why there is no connection with the usefulness and utility. So utility is different from usefulness. Next is no moral or legal connotation. Now what do you mean by moral or legal connotation? That is no ethical or legal connections, connotations. Okay. Now if you say utility, it has no ethical or moral implications. Now just now last example I gave you about liquor. Do it has any moral values? No. legal values? No. So that is what you cannot connect utility with moral or legal connotations. Okay. Next is utility is abstract. Abstract means the thing which you cannot touch, which you cannot see. What you can do, you can just feel it. Okay, so that is why utility is abstract in the sense that it cannot be seen or touched. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next topic, that is total utility. Now what do you mean by total utility? Total utility is the sum total of the satisfaction that a consumer derives when a certain number of utility of a particular commodity are consumed. Okay, so what we are doing, we are consuming, we have started consuming, for example, chapati. So if we keep on consuming, suppose we consumed at one time 4 chapatis, so that is what, that is total utility. Fine. So the number of commodity we have consumed at one point of time, that is a total utility. You can see then in symbolically you can express TU. TU is what? Total utility. Now here it has been mentioned TU, what is it? X. Now TU X means what? That is the total utility of the X commodity. Okay, X commodity means we have assumed commodity. Now equals to F. F, that is function of what? N2. Now what is N? That is the number of the units consumed. Okay, so NX is what? Number of the units consumed of X commodity. Fine. See, down the index is given. You have to specify the index for the examiner. Why? Because examiner don't know what is TUX, what is F, what is NX. He don't know anything, he or she, right? You have to specify that. Now how you will calculate utility in terms of formula? So formula, how you will give? TUX equals to MUX. Now what is MU? MU is marginal utility. We will study about marginal utility ahead. Okay, so MU1, MU2. Now MU1 means marginal utility 1, marginal utility 2. See, marginal means single unit. In short, right now I am explaining you, marginal means single unit. So no doubt 1 unit, whatever you have consumed, if you will keep on adding, you will ultimately find the total utility. Fine. So that is total utility. Now if you will see TU can be expressed sigma MUX. Now what is sigma? Sigma MUX, that is total of marginal utility. Okay, am I clear? So this is all about total utility. Fine. Now let's understand marginal utility. Marginal utility refers to the net addition made to the total utility by consuming one more unit of a commodity. So whatever you have consumed so far, if you will add one more, that one unit is a marginal utility. Am I clear? See, you symbolically how you will express, or you can say formula. See, TUN. Now what is TUN? TUN is a total utility. Okay, plus 1 is additional unit which you have consumed, minus TUN. TUN means the total utility which you have consumed previously. Now here you will have two types of total utility, that is one previous one and the current one. Current one is N plus 1. TUN plus 1 means previous one plus the current amount, extra amount which you have consumed. Okay, plus 1 refers that. So if you will reduce current with the previous one, then what you will get? You will get marginal utility. Am I clear? So this is about marginal utility. Now next is diminishing marginal utility. Now what is diminishing marginal utility? It is generally observed that as the amount consumed of a commodity increases, the utility derived from the additional unit, that is marginal utility, goes on decreasing. Now for example, take one good example. Here they have given example of mango. I will give you example of chapati. Fine. Now you are die-hard hungry. You are very hungry. Okay, you have eaten one chapati. What happened? To a certain level you are satisfied. Now your second commodity when you are consuming, you are not that hungry, right? Though you need it, it's not like it will not give you satisfaction. It will give you satisfaction, but compared to the first one, it will give you less satisfaction, right? Same way if you take the third one, compared to the first and second, the third one will give more less satisfaction or more less utility. So that is the tendency of increasing in the marginal utility with successive increase in consumption of a commodity is known as what? Law of diminishing marginal utility in economics. Okay, so with every successive unit you are consuming, your utility goes on decreasing, your desire, your demand for that commodity, your intensity decreases. Now this decrease is known as law of diminishing marginal utility. Now let's understand the meaning of production. Now this word has its origin from past, that is traditional also. Now previously what was the feeling? What is production? They say the production is the act of making goods and services. Okay, so according to the previous economist, what is it? The act of making goods and services is called production. So accordingly Adam Smith has given his definition. Now what definition he gave? He said production means the creation of material or tangible goods. Now what are the material or tangible goods? That means the goods which we can touch and feel. Now later economists rejected this restricted material production concept. Now they said that it is not only the production of material goods, that means the one which we can touch or we can feel, there are other non-material goods also. So to widen up the scope of production, they have given a new definition. Now according to them, what is production? Production means the creation of utility. Okay, so according to A.H. Smith, production is the process that creates utility in goods. So what they are doing? They are creating utility. Now what is utility? Want satisfying power. Okay, so to create utility in a goods, that is production. Fine. Now production is nothing but a process of adding utility to the object. This is what we have studied, right? So now utility can be added to an object in the following ways. Down you can see the ways by which we can add utility to the object, but do remember these are types of utility also. So you can get a question, what are the types of utility, or explain the types of utility. So you will answer the way I am telling you. So what is the first type of utility? First is form utility. Now what do you mean by form utility? Form utility is one of the way by which utility can be increased. It involves changing the form of goods from what? From raw material to the finished goods. Okay, so no doubt possibly cotton. Okay, cotton is there. Now cotton is of no use for me. Fine, but if with that cotton some material is being made, cotton suit is made, cotton sari is made, that is been useful for me. So cotton is a raw material, and what is the finished goods? Sari or cotton suit. Fine, so what is that? Form is changed. Okay, so that is form utility. Now next type of utility is place utility. Now how you can add this place utility to an object? Utility can be increased by transferring goods from one place to another. Now the best example is if goods are lying in the factory, it is of no use. Okay, it's just lying as a stock. But if it is transferred to retail shop, it will be sold. So what it has been done? The place is changed. Okay, so that is place utility. Okay, next is time utility. Now what is time utility? Time utility is created when goods are made available at the time when they are needed. Okay, suppose in winter season what you need woolen cloth. So if I will make available stock of woolen cloth in winter season, that will be sold, that will be available. Fine. And what if I will sell this woolen cloth in summer? It is of no use. So that is what? Time. Fine. So when you will make available the goods when it is required at that particular time, that is time utility. Fine. Next is service utility. Service utility results from the provision of personal service by the individuals. Now personal services, who give you personal services? Doctors, lawyers, engineers. Okay. Now bankers, what they do, they give you personal services. Fine. Now this is service utility, because doctors make them available by giving their services, their advices, likewise lawyers also, engineers also. So this is creating service utility. Okay. Now we'll go on the topic of price. Let's understand what is price. Now in free enterprise economy, what is free enterprise economy? That means where enterprises are free to trade. Okay. All goods and services carry price tag with them. You all go to purchase goods, you all must have noticed MRP, okay, maximum retail price. So when MRP is mentioned, what is that? That is a price tag. Fine. Now the price of a commodity is the unit or amount of money that has to be given to get this commodity. So if you want to purchase a commodity, you have to pay that price. So that is price. Fine. Now price of a goods are expressed in monetary units. Okay, in monetary terms those amounts are being mentioned. Now these monetary terms are also called absolute price. Now absolute price, that is fixed price. Okay, so absolute price also you can say, or you can say money price. Okay, prices are the essence of a free enterprise economy. Essence means you can say a inseparable part, the one which cannot be separated. Okay, so that is inseparable part, or you can say essence, that is a smell of the economy. Okay, so goods may be very useful, and if they are available in an unlimited amount, they cannot command a price. Do remember why commodity has a price, because it is limited. When if it will be unlimited, it is freely available, who will pay the price for it? Can you pay price for the sun heat? No, not at all. Sun heat is freely available. Can you pay you will pay price for air? No, it is freely available. Okay, so whatever is freely available in unlimited numbers, you will not pay price for that. So when you will pay the price? When the amount is, any goods are limited in number. So goods like air, which are the gift of nature, are known as free goods, and they do not have a price. That is what just now I gave you example. Fine. So scarcity is a fundamental problem faced by all the economies, because not enough resources are available to produce all the goods and services that people would like to consume. So scarcity means limited resources, or you can say limited goods. That is the first part of goods and services that the people would like to have when they are consuming the goods. That means if they are consuming the goods which are limited in number, scarce in number, what they will do? They will pay price for it. Fine. So price are determined through the market forces of demand and supply. See, when the demand of the goods will be more, fine, what will be the price of the goods? No doubt price will also go high, but it depends on supply also. How? If supply is all equally in abundant, or you can say in excess, and demand is also excess, price will not be high. Why? Because both are equal. Fine. So that is why it is decided with the force of demand and supply. That means if demand is more, what is the supply? Supply is less. If supply is less, price will be more. Fine. Why? Because there is scarcity. So that is how it is decided. It is through the interaction of the competitive force of demand and supply that the equilibrium price of goods, services, or a factor service is determined. Now what do you mean by equilibrium price? Equilibrium price means that price on which consumer is satisfied to purchase the goods and the supplier is satisfied to sell the goods. Okay, so if both of them agree on one particular price, that is equilibrium price. Fine. So equilibrium price is the price at which quantity demanded equals quantity supplied. So that is the amount where supplier will supply a particular amount of quantity and consumers are satisfied that they will purchase on that particular price. Okay, so that is equilibrium price. Price respond to change in demand and supply. Any change in demand or supply conditions bring about change in equilibrium price. This is known as price mechanism. So you can get a question, what is price mechanism? Do remember. So what is price mechanism? Price respond to change in demand and supply. I just now told you what is price. It has been decided with the force of demand and supply. So no doubt, if demand will change or supply will change, automatically price will change. Fine. And if price will change, what will be affected? Equilibrium price will be affected. Okay. Now these all conditions are known as price mechanism. Am I clear? Now let's understand what journal price level is. Journal price level refers to the average level of price of all goods and services produced in the economy. Okay, so it is what? We are keeping one average level of price for all goods and services. Whatever is being produced in the economy, that is called what? Journal price. Journal price is commonly this price is there. So that is what it is. It is usually just called the price level. Okay, so if we use in journal language, we call it a price level. Okay, the journal price level may increase or decrease during a particular time period. Now with that time period, possibly it happens like I gave you example of woolen clothes. In winter their price will increase, their journal price will increase. Okay, so it depends on particular time period. Where there is a large increase in the journal price level, it is known as inflation. Whenever there is a large increase, hike in the price, journal price, do remember. Okay, so that is known as what? Inflation. On the contrary, a large decrease in the price level is called what? Deflation. Do remember what is inflation and what is deflation. When there is a high level of increase, or you can say large increase in journal price level, it is known as inflation. On the other hand, a large decrease in the journal price level is called deflation. Now I hope you have understood the topic so far, whatever is being explained. Rest of the topics of this chapter will be explained in another part.